In the great library of human stories, where the wisdom of ages is carefully preserved and passed down, there are countless tales that have shaped our understanding of the world and ourselves. Yet, few tales are as enduring, as captivating, or as deeply woven into our collective imagination as the story of the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden speaks to a universal longing for peace, harmony, and belonging, a paradise that once was and perhaps could be again. It is a vision of a world untouched by conflict, where every living thing exists in perfect balance. Eden is more than just an ancient story. It's a memory etched into our collective consciousness, a symbol of innocence before sorrow and struggle entered the human experience. It represents a time when humanity was unburdened, living in pure connection with nature and the divine. The power of Eden lies in its simplicity, a world untouched, balanced, and abundant, where every need is met and every moment is filled with wonder. It's a place where the beauty of creation is fully realized. This vision of paradise shapes our understanding of what it means to be human, offering a standard against which we measure our own troubled world. It reminds us of what we have lost and what we still yearn for in our hearts. Eden is not just a place, but a spiritual state, a condition of pure innocence, harmony, and connection with the divine. It is an ideal that calls to us, inviting us to remember who we once were. The story of Eden asks timeless questions that echo through every generation. Where did we come from? Why is there suffering in the world? What does it mean to lose innocence, and can it ever be regained? Can we return to a better state, or is paradise forever out of reach? These questions linger, shaping our search for meaning and purpose. As we explore the story of Eden, we confront our deepest hopes, our greatest fears, and the endless human search for understanding and belonging. The Garden of Eden is a mirror, reflecting not only our deepest desires, but also our journey to understand a lost paradise and the possibility of finding it again. It is the dawn of humanity, a timeless quest to rediscover what was once ours and to imagine what might still be possible if we seek harmony, wisdom, and connection once more. Genesis describes Eden as a divinely planted sanctuary, a place set apart from the ordinary world, crafted by the hands of the divine with intention and care. It was a place of delight and abundance, where every sense was awakened by the beauty and richness of the land. Every need was met, every tree was beautiful and nourishing, offering fruit in every season, a symbol of endless provision and generosity. At its heart, a great river flowed, its waters pure and life-giving, dividing into 4 headwaters, the Pishon, Gihon, Tigris, and Euphrates, each one carrying the promise of life to distant lands. The Tigris and Euphrates root the story in real geography, linking myth to the cradle of civilization, where ancient peoples first built cities and cultivated the earth. Eden was rich in resources, gold, resin, onyx, precious materials that made the garden feel tangible and real. A place where beauty and wealth were woven into the very soil. This was no ordinary garden, but the vibrant heart of the world, overflowing with life, where animals roamed freely and every plant thrived in perfect harmony. At its center stood 2 trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, each one unique, each one holding a secret at the core of paradise. The tree of life promised immortality, a gift beyond imagining. The other, forbidden, held the power of wisdom and choice, a mystery that beckoned and warned at the same time. These trees symbolized the profound possibilities and boundaries of paradise, marking the line between innocence and experience, between freedom and responsibility. Eden's geography is both mythical and grounded, a place of perfection and potential, where the divine and the earthly meet in a landscape that feels both dreamlike and real. The garden's abundance and its boundaries set the stage for humanity's greatest test, inviting wonder but also caution, as every gift came with a choice. Here, paradise and peril grew side by side, reminding us that even in the most perfect places, the seeds of challenge and change are always present. Into this perfect world, God formed Adam from the earth and breathed life into him. Adam was more than a creature, he was a steward, entrusted to care for Eden. Yet Adam was alone, so God created Eve from his side, a partner to share in the garden's life. Their unity was pure, their existence innocent and harmonious. They were given one rule: eat freely, but not from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This single command introduced choice, free will, into paradise. Obedience or disobedience would define their relationship with the divine. The forbidden tree was not a trap, but a symbol of trust and responsibility. True relationship requires freedom. Love cannot be forced. Their freedom was a gift, but it carried the weight of consequence. The story of Adam and Eve is a timeless exploration of choice and its cost. In Eden, humanity stood at the crossroads of innocence and knowledge. The stage was set for a decision that would change everything. Eden's harmony was shattered by a new voice, the serpent, cunning and persuasive. It approached Eve, twisting the truth. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree? Eve corrected the serpent, but it pressed on. You will not surely die. Eat and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. The temptation was knowledge, power and self-determination. Eve, drawn by curiosity and desire, ate the fruit and gave some to Adam. In that moment, innocence was lost. Trust was broken. This was more than eating fruit. It was a choice to define good and evil for themselves. The act was rebellion, a grasp for power not meant for them. The serpent's whisper tested trust, and humanity failed. The consequences would ripple through all of history. Eden's peace was broken by a single fateful choice. The bite marked the end of paradise and the dawn of struggle. Humanity's story would never be the same. The garden's silence was replaced by the echo of loss. The fruit's effect was immediate, a new awareness, and with it shame. Adam and Eve saw their nakedness and felt exposed, covering themselves with fig leaves. When God walked in the garden, they hid, fear replacing trust. God's question, "Where are you?" was about their condition, not their location. The relationship was broken, innocence was gone, judgments followed. The serpent cursed, the woman's pain increased, the man condemned to toil. The earth itself became a place of struggle. The abundance of Eden was replaced by hardship and labor. Finally, Adam and Eve were expelled from the garden, barred from the tree of life. Cherubim and a flaming sword guarded paradise's gate. The expulsion was more than physical, it was a separation from innocence and harmony. Human history began in exile, marked by longing for a lost home. The gate to paradise was closed, but the memory endured. The fall of man is more than a fable. It's a foundation for understanding the human condition. This ancient story, passed down through generations, has shaped the way countless cultures view the origins of humanity and the nature of good and evil. For many, it explains sin, suffering, and the need for redemption. The narrative offers a framework for why pain and imperfection exist in a world that was once believed to be perfect. It's a story of a perfect creation, marred by a single, flawed choice. That moment of disobedience echoes through history, symbolizing the fragile balance between innocence and experience. Philosophers see it as an allegory for the journey from innocence to self-awareness. The act of eating the forbidden fruit becomes a metaphor for the awakening of the mind and the complexities that come with knowledge. The fall is the birth of consciousness, freedom and moral reasoning at the cost of simple happiness. With awareness comes responsibility, and with freedom, the burden of choice. Psychologists interpret Eden as a myth of the developing self, the trauma of separation and the struggle for identity. The expulsion from paradise mirrors the challenges we all face as we grow, leave behind childhood innocence and search for meaning in a complex world. The story speaks to our inner conflicts with desire, authority and selfhood. It reflects the universal tension between following rules and pursuing our own path, between belonging and individuality. Feminist and ecological readings offer new insights. Eve as a seeker of knowledge, the expulsion as a metaphor for alienation from nature. These perspectives invite us to reconsider who is blamed, who is celebrated, and what is truly lost. Eden warns of the dangers of domination and the loss of harmony with the earth. It reminds us that our choices can have lasting consequences, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. The story's meanings are as varied as its readers. Each generation, each culture finds new lessons and warnings within its verses. It is a lens through which we examine morality, growth, and our place in the world. The story invites us to reflect on our own journeys, our mistakes, and our hopes for redemption. Eden's lessons are ever evolving, reflecting our changing understanding of ourselves. As we continue to interpret and reimagine this ancient tale, it remains a mirror for our deepest questions and aspirations. The clues in Genesis have inspired centuries of searching for Eden's location. Many look to Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates as the cradle of paradise. Others imagine Eden in Armenia, Africa, or even the Americas. The quest is driven by a longing to connect myth to reality, to find our ultimate origins. For many, though, Eden is not a place on a map, but a state of being lost within ourselves. The search becomes inward, a journey to rediscover inner peace and connection. Eden's story appears in other faiths too. In Islam, Adam and Eve are forgiven and every human is born pure. The tale reminds us of human weakness, the need for repentance, and the hope of mercy. Whether physical or spiritual, the search for Eden is a search for wholeness. The longing for paradise is universal, echoing through every culture and heart. Eden has inspired artists, writers, and musicians for centuries. Painters like Bosch and Dürer captured its beauty and drama. Milton's Paradise Lost explored its cosmic depths. The theme of a lost paradise echoes in countless stories, from Shakespeare to science fiction. Eden's imagery shapes our language. Any place of beauty becomes an Eden. The story is woven into our cultural DNA, a symbol of innocence, temptation, and loss. Music, literature, and art all return to Eden as a source of longing and hope. The garden story is not just religious, it's a universal myth. It gives us language for our deepest desires and regrets. Eden's presence in our imagination shows its enduring power. The lost garden lives on in every dream of a better world. Why does Eden still captivate us? Because we sense we've lost something precious. The story gives voice to our longing for harmony and our hope for restoration. Many traditions promise a future paradise, a new heaven and earth, a return to the tree of life. This hope comforts us, suggesting history is a journey toward redemption. Even in secular dreams, we strive to rebuild the garden, restoring nature, seeking justice, cultivating kindness. In every effort to mend the world, we echo Eden's promise. The story is a mirror of our highest aspirations and deepest fears. It reminds us of innocence lost, but also wisdom gained. Whether myth or metaphor, Eden remains a lesson and a hope for the future. Paradise remembered, paradise hoped for, the story endures, guiding us forward.